Do. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a really quick and impromptu live. Not so quick, quick enough. Guys, we're going to be shooting to keep this one under an hour today, but we got a lot to talk about with what's been going on. We're not going to talk about anything but toys today, of course. All right, toys and toy related stuff. But I see Triple C's out there right now. That's all I got. That's all I need. Triple C, good to see you, buddy. Yeah, we're going to talk about the Stinger today, Triple C. So you might be able to fire off a whole bunch of questions that the floor might be yours today. But I'm not just going to be the only guy chiming in on the Stinger. I don't think it's planned that we probably have somebody pop by, my usual allies, and I'm not calling this a community anymore, by the way. Hey Bobby is in the background listening as well. That's nice to know, Bobby. And Daredevil Dave, right on. Good. Yeah, so guys, I've been thinking really hard on these stupid words that seem to mean so much to everybody, and look who's joining right here on cue. And I don't think I want to call it community anymore. I like fellowship. Hey, down South 77, how are you?
Oh, we don't have enough time for me to explain that today, but I'll just say okay. How are you, and how is everybody else doing today?
Well, I mean, it's our usual guest, so the best part is I don't have to do a whole lot of introduction, just dedicated to the replay squad. Down South 77's wild, right there. No, I got to get used to inverted cameras right there. And,
yeah, it messes me up too.
Yeah, so guys, really quick, I found the term I've decided I'm going to start referring to YouTube about right now as tribe. All right? Tribes. And speaking of tribes and YouTube and people that don't give a crap what word you could use, just as long as you are clear about what you're talking about, let's bring on Punk with Toys is joining us today to talk about the Stinger. All right.
Hey guys.
Hey Lawrence, how you doing, man?
I'm very great.
Okay, so it's just the usual crew pretty much today, Lawrence, because like I said, I didn't give them much warning, guys. I do know Aaron's gonna pop by, and that'll fill my stage of 4. And, I know that Punk, you've got the Stinger, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Darren, you're waiting. You don't have it in your area right now. Is that correct?
No, we're at the mercy of whoever ships it first. I've got one ordered from Pulse and BBTS. I canceled my Amazon one, and I think they've actually sent some. So go figure.
Okay.
Did they?
Right on.
I think I saw somebody say that.
No one that ordered through me has at least not as of today.
Okay, maybe that was incorrect then.
But I mean, I could be wrong.
And so, anybody on the replay squad, if you're not familiar with the overlap, Punk with Toys, if you go onto his site and you're a subscriber or a member, you can use his code with Punk with Toys to get a discount at Big Bad Toy Store. Was it, Punk? Can you just talk really quick about that? How they get around to taking advantage of that from you?
Wait, say it over.
Your discount, your relationship with Big Bad Toy Store.
I don't have any relationship with them.
Who is it? Sorry, where's your Punk with Toys discount?
Helidope Toys.
That was it.
Yeah. So if you order through Helidope Toys, APWT, you'll get 10% off anything in stock or on pre-order. Entertainment Earth, if you use the code APUNK, if it's anything in stock, you'll get 10% off. Nothing if it's pre-order. And if it's pre-order and you use anyone's code, you have to use a link. Because if you put in their code, it kicks back because pre-orders don't count. And it confuses everyone.
Yeah. And of course, it's assumed you're a subscriber and a member at Punks to be using that code. That's just not a passerby kind of thing, guys.
Yeah, you don't have to like me to get 10% off.
Oh, look at that. What a charity. What a charitable act.
I wonder how many people have taken advantage of your goodwill.
Yeah.
That don't like you.
I'm willing to bet that more won't do it just because you know how people are.
Yeah, I like the last part of that, Darren. You kind of let it hang and don't like you. That's a different answer, right?
There are people that are like, well, fuck that. I'm not going to help him out. And you have no idea if you're helping me out or not.
It takes a certain breed to use a 10% discount maliciously.
I know what happens.
Yeah. So Triple C's been waiting the longest in the chat all day. He wants to jump right into this topic. We've got 7 in the chat, so welcome to the Stinger discussion. I'm going to move my camera just over so you can see the Stinger I've got set up there. We can bring in the vamp. We can do comparisons, but Triple C wants to know, do we think the Stinger will be available at stores? So anybody want to answer that one while I move?
No, only like toy stores. It will not be available at Walmart or Target. But like if you have a local store like Sergeant Red's, they'll have it. GameStop might have it because they seem to not be in the same category as Target and Walmart. I'm not sure how they decide to break that up, but they're considered more of a like a hobby type store.
Well, I got mine at GameStop. That's where it came from, guys. So,
but it's gonna be it's not sold out anywhere other than Pulse.
Yeah, you can get it pretty much anywhere online that you would normally order any of this stuff from.
Yeah, you can. I mean, I have links. No offense, guy, but they'll take you right to it. If you need it, then you can just jump on it and grab the link rather than search for. But it's not hard to find.
No.
Okay. That camera angle just didn't work for me at all, so we'll just carry on with that. But
I've heard that before.
Yeah, exactly. First, you have to know the camera's rolling, right? So yeah, I got mine at GameStop. It was a pre-order at GameStop. I'm just going to touch on GameStop up here in Canada because I don't know it's the same in the US right now. And I know a lot of you guys are in the States, and I do have some Canadian here. I'm going to quickly say hey to Lunchbox Killer 805. Thanks for joining us today to talk about the Sting. So GameStop does the pre-orders at no cost, but if it's over $100 or around that 75 to 100 Canadian, so we're talking tripwire, double pack, and Stinger and req'd, they want a $5 deposit usually. And that's about it to secure your pre-orders. They come out on par with our Amazon out here, but it is completely unpredictable. So I got the Stinger before we even saw a req'd and the Tiger Paw, right? I had no idea this thing was coming. But it should be coming to your GameStop, and I'm surprised you guys don't have more pre-orders in through GameStop on top of that and knew that. So is it different?
I was gonna order it through GameStop, and I actually placed the order on BBTS because I saw that people were starting to get your item is shipping soon on BBTS, so I went with them. GameStop here has it slated to come out on 8/18, which is next Sunday, and Amazon has it still at Monday, September 9th.
Yeah, and Pulse is shipping them on the 18th. Well, they'll charge you on the 18th. They should go out shortly after. Yeah. And depending on where you live with Pulse, some days you'll get it. Like I was telling someone, it seems like the exclusives, like Pulse exclusives, go out almost the next day. But if it's a regular release, like they just take their sweet old time.
Yeah,
and I get it within a day. Like if it ships on Thursday, I'll have it Friday in the Chicago.
I've been getting stuff. Generally, when they ship, I've got it on the 3rd day. So, like if they ship it on Monday, I've usually got it
ship
on
it or charge
Wednesday.
You.
Yeah, I can't complain
from charge to ship.
Even up here in Canada, I've ordered from Hasbro Pulse, and it was surprisingly, like within 2 weeks to get a cross-app order. And if anybody's shipped across Canada to their subs or anything like that, it's kind of a pain in the ass. So, I can't complain about their shipping system internationally either, just to this continent, right? So, hey, Triple C wants to know, are the doors built strong enough or do they feel fragile? I thought the doors were fine. What do you think, Punk?
They're a bitch to get off.
They are, but
like...
They don't pop right off like the lights.
Well,
look at them and they fall off.
So it helps to take the window out and then pop the roof off and
Yeah.
everything. But he's right; it's hard, right? They're clamped good.
But it's a soft, pliable plastic that, not the weapons, but it's still clamped around it, and they stay. I mean, you can see how easily they're staying up. Like that's not a problem. They're gonna stay up there. But to get them off, it's a bitch. Like it was a pain to get off.
Danger of the clip breaking, do you think? trying
No,
to
no, because it's soft enough. I can't see you
Okay.
breaking it.
Yeah.
I think if anything, you have more of an issue accidentally breaking the roll cage.
Oh,
because
okay.
you just be putting so much pressure on it.
So if you see that C clamp around there, I mean, that is really tight against that
Yeah.
bar. It is a thick plastic C clamp. It's not flimsy. So when you go to pull, like Punk's saying, it's a contest of who's stronger, the plastic from the clamp or the plastic from the bar. And it's testing it. So you don't want to, I don't know. I don't want to mess around with it too much, I guess is the point of that. Like decide and then put it on your shelf, I guess.
But you're going to be taking the roof off and on over and over and over because that's you can get the figure out and get them in there. But I'll tell you what, that knife gets caught because I struggle with the knife getting caught because I wanted to see if I could get it out without taking it off. I would have liked it more if they would have made it so maybe one roof side didn't clamp as hard, and then it could just. Because that's all you're going to do. So if they would have just left that more open, so it just kind of snap down, then it'd be able to move up and down and get your figures in and out. But you struggle to get the roof off too.
Yeah, and agreed. And even just like a removable piece over the driver or something that flips up just is fine for the guys who have a hard time manipulating. But you said it at the beginning, there's really not much difficulty to open the door and position somebody and pose them. You can do all of that with the whole assembly together. Remembering your windshield comes down. What do you think of that turbo getting in the way of the window going down flush?
Well, the other window did the same thing, but not as much.
Not as much. And that was an ammo
get in the way. I'm going to say something that I think a lot of people might not like. I don't like the tinted window.
You don't? Oh.
Because you can't, if you're doing a picture with them in it, you can't see the figure inside of it. And it makes it everything is already dark. So if you saw the picture that I took with the Stinger driver shooting grunt,
it
was super dark. I had to move a light just to get light into it because everything is covered. Unlike the Vamp where everything's open.
That's
so we're going to see a lot of pictures of the inside with the doors off then probably, right?
Possibly. I mean, I said in my video that Shooting the Galaxy took the one picture inside and it looked amazing.
Yes.
We're going to see people do it over and over, which I kind of did the same thing too. And I wanted to put my own little flair on it. But again, I'm using an iPhone. I'm not a great photographer, I readily admit. So figuring out how to put the light in so it focused, I did my best.
Yeah. And I 100%.
It's not easy.
Yeah, it's not, and 100%. And that's why here's my, like on my video, Punk did a video and I had done a video. And actually, both of our videos are actually kind of long. Punk, I believe yours is like 46 or 42 minutes.
I think it was in the low 40s. I knew it was going to be long. And did anyone notice what I didn't do? I didn't articulate the figure.
No, and the figure
I completely forgot until I was done. I'm like,
yeah, and so that was a good
done now, too late.
Yeah, on my video,
but it was
I put them side by side and just showed everybody the interior and everything. But I had to rip the whole roof assembly off to do that. Like, I agree with your point on the lighting, but you're right. That figure is not relevant at this point with the Vamp discussion, is it?
No. I always like to do it, but I was just like, once I finished, and I grabbed the figure to like do pictures, I was like, oh shit! Like he didn't even. Like I didn't even move them at all.
Yeah, I do it all the time. And when I do that, and you're probably, you got to be the same way because I modeled my reviews after the way you do yours because that's what I want to see when I open something. You've got to do all that at the end, like when you're done, because you've got it out. And if you want to hurry up and finish it or get it out or whatever, like then you got to sit there and screw around with trying to move them and pose them and get some decent pictures. And it lengthens the whole process. So,
oh yeah, I mean that's the biggest thing is, I mean especially how I do my opening, but then I do the pictures that I want to put out. That's what that takes the longest. Like that last 60 seconds that I do, where I take pictures, or take 6 different pictures. On the what are we calling it? The Susan, not Lazy Susan.
Oh, Lazy. Oh,
no, it's not a Lazy Susan. My ex doesn't like that. Um,
Slothy Susan.
Oh,
no,
God.
what is it?
Let's just call it woke.
The productive Susan,
Sure.
because it's actually doing work for you.
Okay.
The productive Susan.
Can we just call it Karen?
No, because my ex doesn't like it because that's her name, Susan. So she doesn't like
Okay.
Lazy Susan. I was telling Tony, and then Tony actually used it in his video, and I was dying. So.
Hey, we're gonna get to the next question there. I just, I have a guest on the show besides Punk. I have down south here, and he doesn't have one. Darren, is there a burning question about this thing now that Lawrence and I have one that you'd like to ask about it, or are you just kind of, I'm good?
Did it come with any patches?
Fine.
It came with instructions.
Yeah,
Came with no flashlight.
Are they as ambiguous as the vamp instructions were?
I did talk about it. They have all the same wheels, so you don't have to figure out what tread goes where. They're all the exact same.
Yeah, and
so
I liked how you pointed out the only thing missing for wheel matching on the MMS was that there was no red ring on the MMS. You pointed that out. You showed it towed. I don't have the MMS, so Punk shows it towed how it works, right, guys? So
I think those wheels would look better on the MMS, and the MMS wheels would look better on that, actually. But I do have a question, but you may want to start.
You need two MMSs.
That ain't happening unless it hits a pulse cell. That ain't gonna be happening.
I don't see that.
You may have to start this question because my question is, overall, like, to me, it does not look near as good as the Vamp, and it looks like it is cheaper. Like, over the overall look of it, it looks like. I mean, it looks like something that's in the aisle at Walmart for like the 5-year-old kids' toys, which are actually incredibly well sculpted, but it does not look like it is as like nothing stands out like it does on the Vamp from what I've seen of it.
So
like, it just looks meh.
Yeah, before I weigh in on that, I think Lawrence could probably weigh on that with an opinion as well. I'm just going to quickly answer Bobby Wold's question because I think it's pretty easy. I mean, of course, Vamp Mark II would mean you would get another shot at clutch. I think Hasbro would be wrong to not take a shot at that when they've got all the pieces. On my video, if you watch to the very end, I do a tongue-in-cheek little skit that talks about how once they make the missile launcher for the Vamp Mark II, you have the piece that was really the focus of the Arctic Cat as well. So cross compatibility, you take the two old designs, you modernize them to make them one design, and Hasbro's got the floor open. So Vamp Mark II, I think, is a gimme. What do you think about those two guys? Like, are they gimmies to you, or do you think they might not happen?
The Mark II is coming. There's no doubt
it's
about
coming.
that. Yeah,
that's probably why we saw such a. Well, I mean, I want to say something bad about it, but the Vamp run, that's what the way the Vamp run was. Like, we all thought there'd be more. I certainly thought there would be more than there was. But I think they had to hurry up and get that mold in for the Stinger. And then now that the Stinger has been done and we have all the parts, they're probably tooling and doing either another run of Vamp, like you said, or they're already working on the Mark II because we got everything we need sans that missile launcher. So it's definitely coming.
This is a good comb, actually, man. The front end piece, little spiky thing.
That does not stand very well.
That's what I was about to ask.
Yeah, that does not stand. You're gonna need some sticky tack.
Was it
my favorite thing about it?
I thought it was meant to push forward like a brush guard, like it's push long long grass.
Yeah, that's how the Stinger was.
Yeah,
except it only had like two, and then had like two on the other side that were really small, so they just made it more. You go outside with that thing, take that thing off before you walk around with it because you'll be looking through your yard trying to figure out where it fell.
I see downstairs head hanging. Yes, it's like the light cluster, except now it's all black and not one little glint to catch the light. You'd be screwed there.
I've already done that once.
Come on in. Aaron's watching right now. He wants to come on in, but he wasn't sure if I had room for a fourth, so I sent him the link. He was, of course, welcome to come on way in.
Cool. But
that was the surprise.
Yeah. So getting back to Darren's question, I think I'd like Punk to answer that first about whether this thing feels cheap or a ripoff or if it feels worth what it is. What's your opinions on the value? Was it met?
I think the value is the same as the Vamp. It's there. It's well worth $100. All right. And again, please do not tell me that a Vamp cost me fucking $7.99 in 1983. Okay, I don't give a shit. All right. It is a heavy vehicle, and what I mean by heavy is if you don't have the Vamp, like when you pick up that box, you're like, why is this thing so heavy? I was shocked at how sturdy the Vamp was. I think what you might be thinking, Darren, with the Stinger and why it doesn't look as nice as the Vamp and you kind of think it looks bland is once you put those doors on, you have now taken away everything that you're seeing inside of it, including the figure.
Yes.
And when you put that tinted window up, you're not even seeing in it. So all you're seeing is a Hot Wheel car that has that black tint window over it, and you're seeing the wonderful design on the outside, but you're not seeing the three-dimensional things like you see when you're looking inside of it. Also, when you put the doors on it, it armorizes it. And now this is not to cause anyone an uproar. I'm not a big fan of the Vanguard. All right, Valor versus Vanguard. I'm not a fan of it. We know what it looks like. When I saw the pictures of it all armorized, I thought it looked even worse because now you're just putting stuff over it. I like the idea of the window slits there, so it's armored, but you can't see. Like it takes away so much from it.
They should be louvered more and a little more space between them at least.
So I just like Cobra and Joe Privilege on these, right? Like, I look at these tactically and whether they serve the purpose they're intended for. But I think what I would say about why Darren may think that also is the aesthetics on this are done in a very different way than what you get with a green open-topped Army Jeep. Your eye is brought to a different region than it is on the Vamp. On the Vamp, it's brought completely inward.
That's what I'm saying about three-dimensional.
Yeah, it's drawn to those rockets. It's drawn.
Hold them up side by side again, Crow.
What's that?
Hold them up side by side again.
Oh, absolutely.
Look at them side by side. Yeah, see, I mean, there's so much to look at on the Vamp, and I get, I know that it's supposed to be all blacked out on the Stinger. That's the point of it. It just doesn't. It just looks so bland.
Yeah, and like there's a story with the Vamp kit layout, and it looks cool and everything like that, but also there's no separation of a rare color suddenly in the back, so everything flows really front to back, green and black, green and black. Here, it's like black, gray, red. What am I? Right.
But
so
if they would have went with the O-ring version, not the latest O-ring remake they did, it would have been all black. It would have just been black on black. Yeah, they gave you the gray accents.
It depends on where you capture the vehicle on the line. I have one that's more of a blue and black camouflage, like what you'd see on Firefly, right? Like they made different variations of the thing. It's it's what it is, right? Like, but as far as it feels cheap, I agree 100% with what Punk said. It feels like what a Vamp should cost. It's heavy. The driver comes with an equal amount of kit to balance the plastic used for clutch, so that's fair. The weapon system, probably about the same, if not more plastics used to make that look good, great. I love the fact that they put in that back step plate with the intent for crossover, like upgrading the old design that people complained about. The only thing I have a problem with at this point, and I'd love your guys' opinion on this, are we over blast effects being incorporated into these boxes yet? Or like, and do you know, are we paying for blast effects still?
Well, I mean, when you think of it,
no, we're getting the same ones.
Yeah, so when you think about it, I mean, people complain that hey, they're throwing in stuff to give you perceived value. Well, that's the same thing as saying Valiverse throws in extra hands as perceived value, right? Mm-hmm. It's already molded, it's already done. It is something that is useful for people. So when you look at the Stinger, the mold's already done for the most part. Right? It's made to be future proofed. It's made to be for them to swap the turbo compared to the little environmental sensor, different things like that. So they're taking that and saying, all right, well, we've already got the mold done. We got to make some changes. Let's throw in blast effects. Now, again, the scrap iron missile blast effects, there's no reason why someone couldn't have said, hey, either get rid of the smoke or paint it different.
Well,
if you would have just got rid of the paint, I don't think no one would have cared if it was just red smoke coming off.
So I want to weigh in on this part because I've heard this argument a few times. You're not the only one making it or commenting on it. People talking about where does the transparent orange belong versus the smoke on a rocket. And I just remind people, it really depends on the stage of the rocket. If that thing is still sitting on its mount, a billow of smoke in front of the flame might be because it's stationary and that smoke is releasing wider than the gas of the flame is. But most of the time, yes, you're right. That flame, then smoke, right? But it's like, I don't want Hasbro to focus on that. I want them to focus on the bigger issues, not the blast effects. You know what I mean? Not to minimize that subject, but just like, if you're going to put money into staffing someone to fix something, we have a long list. I don't know where that lands.
But that's not fixing something. That's just saying, hey, either take it away. Because when you do look at it, I actually got them right here, right?
Yeah.
It's meant for scrap iron's rocket. It also works for bazooka, if you don't know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The problem is this piece here, the white, is thicker, which makes sense. So it's supposed to be shooting out this way, right? Mm-hmm. So the smoke is going to be bigger. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But if you look at it this way, now maybe what you said, it all depends on where the smoke is at. If you gave it a cap, so it looked like it was tailing off, that would make this just ends because you're supposed to put a rocket on it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's like
it needs some. I would say, they could use it, but it does need a slight retool to make it work, not just flipping just the colors around. Yeah. But I mean, it don't seem like that would take much, right? Why don't they just design that one and give it to us with all the vehicles that take rockets, and then you got both. You got one for launchers, people-mounted launchers, and then one for vehicles.
I would have rather them done one blast effect that had dog bone down here, and then I could plug it in so I could put it on it like it is actually firing. Or I could put the rocket on it, plug it in the back there, and have it blasting off.
Yeah.
Something new that I could use on the HISS tank, that I can use on the Dragonfly. The Dragonfly is going to have them. Something that we could use on the HMS, because, I mean, we're getting, the MMS or the SMS, or I don't know, whatever it's called.
Yeah, you can use it on the HISS tank, but it's not a different problem.
But I want a dog bone,
so
I can plug it in so it's actually firing. I believe that the Dragonfly comes with something similar, but are the dog bones going to be the same?
Yeah.
The Rattler we saw, I don't like that they did this. The blast, the effects for the engine, also dual as rocket effects.
Yeah, I know.
So do I cut my engines on my fucking A10 when when I need to fire?
Just got to hold it level while you fire. That's all right.
Yeah. So
before you're not a vertical takeoff, right?
Yeah. Before I segue into something here, because I got what the hell's going on with his background. I've got a buddy backstage, and something's going on back there that right away I guess we're going to be talking about for sure. I want to just answer Triple C.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Triple C, your question's been up there for a little bit, buddy, because it's I want everybody to sink in. How the hell are we ever going to predict what Hasbro does when they do it at the rate they've been doing it? Like, we know they have the molds, we know they can do things, but they hold off. I think the answer is you need to see some towable trailers come out and some accessories, other ventures before they beat the Vamp to death. They've done 2, pause, Dreadnought, then, I think that's the answer to that. Punk. While I bring Aaron in, do you or Darren want to have a different perspective on Triple C's question? And I'll sneak Aaron in.
Target has to ask for it.
There's a great theory.
Target has to say, we want that Jeep. Before people get mad, and I hope more people tune in on the replay. Everyone that hates these sub-teams being at Walmart, why are they doing this? Understand, Walmart and Target are funding a lot of the G.I. Joe brand. It's not that hard to figure out. And yes, they're owned by a $1 billion company. They're $1 million brand. I swear should be the easiest thing in the world. But Target and Walmart say, we want something that is special to us. People have to come in and hopefully they buy other stuff. Doesn't mean they do. They make sure that, hey, if people are going to pre-order, we're going to charge their card till they finally max it out and don't realize.
Yeah.
But
what do they lose?
The Tiger Paw, Target has to ask for it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks very much for that. Hey, Darren, any added thoughts on this before we welcome Aaron?
I answered it in the chat. I think we're definitely getting both of those either way. Those are both Joe vehicles, so they're going to have to space that out because you're going to be asking people to buy $200 vehicles of the same thing pretty much, and then they're also going to try to sprinkle in whatever other new stuff they're going to give us. So I think we'll see it, but I don't think they're going to like come out within 3 months of each other.
But see, I think that's where if you're not talking down the road where they're trying to get this thing back out again, maybe after Target no longer has the exclusiveness for Tiger Force, but Target has to be willing to want to sell $100 vehicle. And I know they have Power Wheels that are $350 and they take up space, but these are toys. And those people at Target and Walmart, they look and they go, oh, hey, look at this. No one is buying these Ram cycles. We have to clearance them. They were $55. Now you want to ask us to hold a $100 vehicle. We know how big it is, right? It's going to take up
55 when I bought mine, that's for sure.
And just to close out the point on that, and say, hey, Aaron, hi, buddy. We're going to give you the floor in a second to introduce yourself like people don't know you. But just with that, just when you guys talk about these exclusives and act like these, like I'm guilty of it too. I was like, fuck you, Walmart. I don't want this. Like, you make it too hard, right? But something changed this quarter. Now you're starting to see Night Force show up at GameStop. Tiger Force is showing up at GameStop. These companies like Target and Toys R Us.
Well, that's in Canada. That's in Canada.
Not here.
Yeah, in Canada, but I'm just saying that.
No, Canada's different. Canada is different.
Yeah,
you guys don't have Targets and stuff.
What I'm saying is it just recently changed, Pump. Before that, we couldn't get Night Force and Tiger Force through GameStop. It wasn't happening. They were still exclusive to Toys R Us and Walmart exclusive. This quarter, all of those two sublines came to GameStop. So I'm just saying it could be that these big companies have let up the reins a little bit to allow bigger things to happen. That's all.
They will after a while, but there's an exclusive. Yeah, there is an exclusive time that they have because the Cobra Island stuff eventually went to, I want to say it went to BBTS after a while.
There we go. Yeah.
But that's the big thing. And because you guys don't have Target, but the Walmart, I would assume Walmart in Canada, that's going to be different than Walmart in the US, what their exclusives are.
It wasn't that different, but with classified at all. But I digress because this is going to be, I'm trying to keep this one to about an hour and a half at most, guys. We all have things to do tonight. And we have a fourth guest that's joining us, Aaron, the toy enhancer down there from his own channel. And as you can see, buddy, he's got a new backdrop and he's got a lot of big smiles today. So what's going on, Aaron?
Am I coming in okay? You guys can hear me?
Yeah.
There's no glitchy, crazy stuff like every time I come on to Oz.
Oh my God! You not only did you redo your shelves, you redid your internet.
Yeah. Well,
what's up, brother?
Yeah, we had to, in a family, you got to make some sacrifices, and Missy needed a new room, so I decided to give her the room that I was using over there, and I squeezed back into my old place here. Even though it's new to everyone, you're in my bedroom. Thanks for having me. I appreciate the discussion. I wanted to recap on the missile smoke real quick. I am gonna do a little fabrication thing for you guys to correct that, and it's very simple to do. And you might like that. You might like that. People may want to change that smoke direction around.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see how you do that.
There's a lot of people like myself that if I have a second, I'm willing to do it. I will not customize anything.
Oh, it's definitely a quickie.
What you said.
Yeah.
But either way, I have to remove it. So I would have to remove this, right? So now I've compromised a complete. Same with like Triple C said something about the Pixies design window. That's great and all. And if I had a second one, that's fine. That vamp that I did, that gridiron vamp, it's not my vamp.
Yeah,
that's my buddy's.
Yeah,
you know,
and it's insured out the wazoo. I'm sure.
Well, that's me, Punk. Like I'm not gonna get like I've got one vamp. I'd like some of the gridiron stuff. I'd like some of the add-ons, but if I've just got one of something, like, and I'm not a super customizer, it's gonna stay the way it's meant to stay.
I'm the same way.
If I can change the look, it's going to be changed with whatever comes with it.
I want to jump on that point when I can for a second, just really quick. Okay, with regards to blast effects, the overall issue, it's the same for Hasbro as what you just said, right? Like, there's only so much you're going to dedicate money and attention to, and then you're just going to accept. If they've already accepted, like, hey, look, these blast effects have some feedback about their realism, I can almost promise at some point they've said, like, in Q4 of 2026, we're going to change all our blast effects, and that'll last us 5 years of boxing, right? Like, they have plans, but they just don't make it happen right away.
Well, nothing is fast. I mean, trying to produce this stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Sorry, and I jumped on that. Punk, you had a point lined up or no?
I don't know.
Okay, let's give it over to Aaron for a second, because Aaron,
sure I did.
You were telling me that you're working on some new videos right now. It's just everybody got to introduce themselves, and I want to give you something because you were telling me something backstage earlier.
Yes, I do have some very exciting information that I just received this morning, and I'm stoked about it. But it has to pertain with my dioramas. I'll say that. And we have a new contest kicking in for the year, kind of similar to what we did last year. But I did receive some amazing information that I was totally blown away with. And yeah, please hop over and check out the video when it launches. I think everyone's going to be delighted on what happened to me.
Yeah. So, I do have some insight. There is insight out there, but trust me, it's worth it. Video.
I will let you in as far as it has to be. It is involved with the dioramas that I build. It's probably the best news, and looking from an artist's point of view, probably the best news I could have received during my YouTube journey, and I was totally honored.
It's better than the news on Tuesday.
Yeah, much better than that.
All right, so Aaron, you also
moving on.
Your stinger yet, correct? Right, you didn't get the stinger yet.
I didn't, man. I'm about to roll up to Canada and hop over the border and go hit up my nearest GameStop.
Yeah.
So I know Punk's closer.
I was joking with Daredevil Dave because he hopped on my video and said, like, look, now you can stop complaining about never getting things on time. And I was like, man, this is like when the Generals used to get one basket on the Harlem Globetrotters at the start of the game. Like, I got one. And then you just get trounced. Like, we never get anything before you guys.
You guys got all of Tiger Force well before us.
I cannot attest to that. We just got.
I can because I watched it.
Actually, it depends on where you are. Because Roadblock and Tripwire, I just got them about 5 days ago.
I'm talking
and
about
I've seen them a lot more.
Like Python Patrol, Tiger Force. They were all littered in Canada, where like people are like, these things are just peg warning me, and there's just a bunch of them, and I'm like, I need to go get one of those enhanced licenses where I can just cross the fucking border and get this stupid thing.
Yeah. Well, I've never seen it where it's, and Aaron can attest to it. The only other time where I've been able to jump ahead of an American YouTube review is Mutt.
Yeah, and this is why I was so happy for you, bro, because like you finally got a win, with getting something early.
I made a long ass review. No one's watching that.
I watched it.
Yeah, my friends will watch it.
I don't watch anyone that gets things before me. Fuck all
Yeah, I didn't. I watched Crow's because I knew his was going to be his tactical perspective kind of take on it, and his is the only one I've watched because it's like looking at the stuff up close and and panning the camera over it and and on like that. I want to wait for, but I will watch some early reviews on stuff before I get it, but not many. Unless it's like Shark Eyes and I'm not going to have it for 3 months, then I'll watch it because I forget by the time I get it.
So there is
Bobby
There
B
is one thing.
Wait, hold on.
Okay.
Bobby B found a way to do it in 12 minutes somehow.
I saw his video. It's only 12 minutes. I didn't
Like,
watch
just
it.
over 12 minutes. I'm like, how the fuck do you do that?
Wow.
I can't
might
get
have
it out of the
to-
package in 12
Yeah,
minutes.
I do like me some Bobby B. I'll have to watch that one.
Okay.
It was
So,
super.
So I am going to bring up one thing about the Stinger that is kind of a warning sign for the future Vamps, as I see it, as far as the Hasbro kind of approach to it. Because we've been talking about the Stinger, guys. If you're just joining us, I think there's 15 of you out there. Thanks very much.
That's what
If
I
you
got.
don't mind hitting that like, share, subscribe, that'd be great. But we'll settle for likes if you like the three other guys on the screen. One thing I will complain about, and I'm going to take that difficult to remove roof off again so that we can talk about it. And Punk, I want your opinion on this. When you remold the interior of the Vamp, pay attention to what you're saying this thing is doing as a vehicle. Okay, so this weapon system, you guys know on your MMS you had a little separate box that causes that thing to actually launch the missiles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's nothing included in this in here. Because we've reprinted the dashboard, there's no gunnery control whatsoever in this vehicle. There's nothing to allow this guy. So you can't tell me the driver's doing gunnery at the same time on air defense. I'm just going to tell you that's not happening. We have to accept that sci-fi, it's just Joe calculation thing. But just understand, and it's not like it was in 82. When you blow it up, we're looking for stuff now. And that needed a little bit of addressing, I think. We needed some way to explain how these are worked. Does anybody disagree or does anybody agree?
I agree.
Did they change the dashboard?
Just the color sets. They left all the layouts the same, and there's nothing for like targetry or joystick or anything.
Do you want to know what I have to say to that?
I figured I would.
We're talking about toys.
I know.
I knew it. I knew it was going to be that or imagination.
Yeah, but you know what I get to say? Punk for the first time ever. Yeah, welcome to Crow Country, man.
Well, I watched most of your video. I had other things to do in the day, so I had to stop it for a bit. Now I know why people don't finish mine.
Yeah, exactly.
I did have a suggestion for you that I was going to send you, but
you can say it here. Keep it shorter.
But now you've insulted him.
No. I'm going to send you a link to the mics that I used.
Oh yeah, please.
Sound is everything. Like that.
Yeah, I'll confess, guys. I just use whatever mic is provided by the device that I stream on, because I don't have patch cables to plug anything into it. So yes, Punk uses the mic.
Do you use your phone?
From time to time, yeah.
So these come with an adaptation for the phone, for Android or for iPhone. It also gives you the adaptation for cameras. So
that's what I use for my videos.
This is a dual one. You can get a single one for I think $60. This one was like $100. But this is the brand that my son was using that he really liked. So
okay.
That's the one you posted the link to, isn't it, Punk? A while back.
They work good because I clip mine on. I
Amazon
use those and hook up to my phone and clip them on while I'm doing my videos so I can get a more solid sound.
I like
that.
Yeah,
because then you get an even sound, because if you're talking behind the camera, it sounds different, even though you think it doesn't.
Or if you have a fan going or something.
Yeah, and it's something that Daredevil Dave made me aware of the other day in the comments on one of my videos. He's like, there's sometimes I'm driving and I have to amp your volume right up. Like, and guys, it isn't for whatever reason. Maybe it's my hearing or whatnot. But when I watch some of the videos back on doing the editing, I can adjust the volume settings, but I can't actually pick up on where that resonates after it processes. It all just kind of just seems the same for me.
Yeah.
So
it's always different when it finishes, even though
I
you can
appreciate
adjust
feedback. I really do. Punk, thank you for the advice and the recommendation. Do send me a link to that.
Yeah. And like I said, I like these. They're not that expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can find ones that are real expensive. I think the ones my son used were like $250. I'm like, well, these ones are 100, same brand. They're a little bit bigger, and he hasn't looked at the footage that we did on last Sunday for the event, and because there's a lot of stuff going on, so I'm interested to hear how that sounded. Finally, being outside, not just in a controlled environment. So, but I like them. They work really well, and they're not super expensive.
No, and it's about time I threw my money at something other than toys for a sec. But I definitely got to get some tech. I'm just going to say hi to some of the people that have showed up in the chat, like Michael Kimmel here, who I haven't seen before. But we have 15 people here and only so many are talking, and that's fine, guys. But we're going to go back to the Stinger for a second. Aaron, did you have the Stinger as a kid, and how many do you have right now? Because I know you rebuild broken toys and things like that. You must have quite a few, eh?
Absolutely. I have 3 vintage Stingers, and the part that I hated most as a kid, I guess, is the missiles not having that dog bone character to them that we're very familiar with, and was basically through the entire line. It just had a simple, slit in it, and it was hard to get things even to this day. These rockers and stuff, they want to break, they're wobbly, and now we have a whole nother design that Crow is lucky to have. And I believe it has a dog bone, a cradle, and
does.
it seems like a lot more solid setup, which I'm totally stoked about, because that was one of the things I hated about the original Stinger. It just was a floppy system. It may have been good when you first bought it, but after a few weeks of play, I imagine it just got loosened up. And
I think the only missiles that they may have made that were worse were for the Fang.
Those were awful.
So I'm with you. Improved brackets for the missiles so you can keep them in line. Like you have to pay the extra attention to kind of squeeze them down to make sure. But I mean, they are capable of being flush. But what I don't like about this is I don't like the fact that this doesn't have a pivot lock to keep this thing on. This thing punked. What do you think about how this attaches to the hull? This is the point where I think they got a little cheap.
Yeah, and all they needed to do was make a longer peg there.
Yeah,
anything.
I know that's what she said.
Or a rigid one with teeth, and hopefully
that's all.
So does it?
How it stays.
So does it stay in? I mean,
as long as when you turn it, as long as you push it back down.
Yeah,
because the vamp is the guns for the vamp are absolute trash.
Yeah, Darren, let me put it to you this way.
As long as when you turn it, you push it back down, it'll stay right in place. I have no problem with the vamp. I have no problem with this. But if you go to turn it and you walk away to take a picture, it might just barely be on until it falls off.
Yeah. So Darren, Aaron, I know how you guys photograph. You photograph like mine. Just picture like pulling this out of the trunk of your car or something and be like, like this is gone. It go, whee, like.
You take that off before you take that off and you put that in the box of figures.
Yes, I definitely would take it off before I travel with it.
Yeah, along with the evil push bar.
And I do that with my IS tanks also. I'll take the guns off the side and stuff and the top so I don't break anything when I'm traveling to the woods or wherever I'm going to go for my location setups. I'll take all those pieces off.
I put it all in a tote and still lose it.
Yeah,
exactly.
This you're taking it off so you don't lose it. The hiss you're taking off so they don't break. Those mini guns on the turret on the hiss, those things are never coming off.
Yeah,
no, they're
going to get that thing out.
Yeah. You turn them, and then it's like, oh god.
I had a point about the bits and losing bits and things like that I was talking about on my video. Senseless plug, go. But actually, you just brought it up. All right, so we get drivers that come with two rifles, a backpack, a knife, and a sidearm, and he's going to wear the backpack in here. I want to start seeing Hasbro, if they're going to do this, start putting out the branches of where the guys are going to keep their kit. Not because I want it to be tactically sensible and be like the army, because I don't like separating my figures from their kit if it's avoidable. If I can keep all of this stuff's kit that it came with in the box in this vehicle, that's a lot more comfortable than losing pieces because I've misplaced them in a filing system I long forgot about, right? So I don't know if anyone else agrees with that or has an explanation why not, but feel free.
I mean, the AK sits perfectly fine in the passenger side. Like, it plugs right in, it doesn't fall out. I think it would have been nice had they just made a circle somewhere that you could have just plugged the that rifle case into it. But the reason why they did this was it's probably on the same the same weapons branch that came with the Cobra Officer. The AK, this one. What is odd is that it's missing the flashlight.
And that's a bummer because they left the barrel wide open. Like, not just any place on the gun, it's the goddamn barrel. But
Yeah.
I just brought it up, Punk, because you've reviewed so much Gridiron. The Gridiron had the simplest solution. I mean, how complicated were the little posts for the backpacks on the?
Well, Gridiron did a whole different design.
Yeah.
They redesigned their backpacks, and that's what they did.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So Gridiron now, their new backpack system, it clips on. So there's a piece that attaches to the person, and then you put the backpack on. So it doesn't matter where it sets. Right? It's always going to be in the right spot for the figure. It's a good idea, although Tony said the same thing. Every time I went to move it, I'd knock the thing off, and it would come off. Again, you have to remember I know people can say you're just apologizing. I'm just being realistic on the stuff that, they're trying to make everyone happy. If they said, okay, well, here's what we're going to do. We're just going to take away a couple of the weapons. All you need is an AK-47. Guess what? Then people are flipping out that they're going cheap. Next thing we know, we got vamp spam all over again.
Vamp spam.
That's coming anyway.
Yeah,
Spam's coming.
Yeah,
there.
It always be vamp spam to me.
Triple C, I agree, but then we're talking about a function and a remold of the entire chassis of the vehicle because you have to make a gap there for something to go into, and they're not going to pay for it. We will.
And I love that AK-47. That's one of my favorite weapons in the line. Is that Kalashnikov, whatever it's supposed to be. But yeah. I mean, if you're going to make it cool, so it's got all of the attachable and detachable parts, send them all.
Triple C, I'll make one for you, buddy. I'll make you some trunk space.
Yeah. So the issue I'm also having with this vehicle and the gun systems that they're using, like Cobra uses Warsaw Pack Kalashnikov, so that's cool. But now we've got Iron Grenadiers that are using NATO stock M16 type. Those are two different ammos. Forget it. I'll leave that off the table, right? But this vehicle is air defense, right? Is it not? Are these not anti-air? So how is it supposed to protect itself from infantry or any ground-based target with anti-air? Like, I just wish they had included one sort of defensive weapon. Yes, it would have changed the entire concept of the original 80s design, but so have some other things on this, right? Like, they have done some modern tweaking, and it's about play factor and posing, because if you don't start including little things like a secondary gun or something, the guys are going to see it over at these secondary markets, things like that. They do want them some way. So does anybody want to weigh in on what these things lack in that? Or go ahead.
Really quick, and I'll just point out, I mean, everyone's seen the Gridiron side gun mount. I mean, that would be a perfect addition to that vehicle, just so there is a side gunnery, even if they had to swing the vehicle one way or the other to be a defense, it's better than nothing. And I was really happy.
You'd probably have to pull the door out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
so
You'd have to get rid of
that Gridiron gun. It barely fits in. It causes a lot of issues because remember, these aren't real people; they're plastic. So the way you can move them, it makes it difficult. And it doesn't matter for Hasbro what other people are doing. Let them. The reason why this is going to be bigger for Gridiron than all the Vamp stuff is because there's a lot more of these. So now they can make as much shit as they want. There was a limited run that they could do right now with the Vamp. And I know for a fact they did not realize that it was going to sell that well. So now here they are ready for the Stinger. And Johnny Reno hit me up and he asked me where I got mine from because they want to get one in right now so they can start making sure everything lines up properly.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I figured they'd probably already have a lot of stuff ready to go, but that would make sense to double check.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I still see new stuff showing up for the Vamp. I could have sworn I saw a Gridiron putting up a whole new cam net spreader setting for like a stationary vehicle to hide, right? Like I thought I saw something to that.
Well, the thing they just dropped were all the new tires for the Vamps, Stingers, and the Ferrets.
Nice.
Then for the Vamp, they created a spare with a big jack. So
I like that.
That tire setup they're doing is man, it looks awesome. And that was one of the main reasons I switched mine over to RC, because I hated the tires.
I have no issue. I mean,
it's fine for me, but I do wish that it was more of a all-terrain, mud tire.
And I understand
tire,
it's a fine line
fine.
between people keeping things original and then the way you want your toy to look, because people just want the original stuff sometimes, and then there's modification, people who modify and whatnot, and they just want it to look a certain way on their shelf, like me. There is that divides us.
Yeah, and I've thought about getting another Stinger just so I could get the rack and then, mount this onto it, because you need the rack to mount this gridiron gun to it.
Oh,
but then you're looking at $100 for a Stinger, and then 30 or 35 for the cage. And then I was like, well, I could get the wheels, so now my Stinger would be completely different. Well, not only is it money, but then it also is, I don't even know where I'm putting the Stinger, let alone the Dragonfly, and the Awe Striker that's coming next year.
Yeah.
And then again, Dragonfly, the Rattler. If I want, I can hang them, right, along with my Robo Skull. I can hang those and use that as, hey, this is fine. They're flying, right?
Yeah.
But eventually, I did a whole video that I was wrong, and I may have to soon do a video saying I was right, but wrong.
Wrong about being
you'll
wrong.
Hate that video,
Yeah.
Punk?
What?
I said you're gonna hate making that video.
I love the videos.
I love it, dude. I knew that thing was gonna blow up because the moment they see me saying I was wrong,
Yeah,
and it did.
Let's see what he was wrong about.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just looking at the chat. And it's good. Aaron, did you see the question about the tires or the hubcaps? I'm not sure if that was.
I didn't. I missed it.
I just don't know what it's in reference to. What part of what you were talking about? But Triple C asked it.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
He's just saying, Aaron, is it the tire or hubcaps? And I'm like,
it's both. It's the actual tread that's on the tire that I'm not satisfied with, and
okay.
and the inner hub. I think the inner hub was a mistake. Actually, I think it was a reverse printed. Who knows? If you look inside that hub, it looks more interesting than it does on the outside of it. Is what I'm saying. Just something I noticed. It was weird to me, and it could have been more complex.
Can I say something else?
Mm-hmm.
And I hope this is people that watch on the replay. To all the people that are pissed that Gridiron continues to make shit for this stuff and they're pissed off, why don't you walk into your next four-wheel drive store and say, hey, stop making tires and wheels for that Ram, all right? Yeah. They already come with them. You should create your own vehicle if you're going to use it. Hey,
the Jeep
don't create new lights and new push bars for it, all right? Chrysler should be making it. Ford should be making it, right? Just who the fuck cares what Gridiron makes? If you don't want it, then don't buy it. And if you're like, it's too expensive, well, all right, then problem solved. Don't buy it.
Well, and the problem is to use the 4x4 store, right? It's like some people expect to walk in and it's all going to be priced like those easy grab off the shelf stickers. Like, I need a new hood vent for my car. You go to Canadian Tire, pick it up, lick it, stick it on your car. You paid $4 for it, but they want high quality at that price. Gridiron doesn't give you cheap shit that you can buy with your pocket change, right? Like,
it's stuff you're gonna put it on it, and you're like, you can say whatever you want about him. I put that vent together for Greg, and it looked fucking awesome. All right, I kept saying this is too much shit, and as I put one thing after another, I'm like, it's really not. Yeah. But again, people are like, well, by that time, you could have just bought the Vanguard. But people don't want the Vanguard. They want to accessorize this, right? That's the whole point.
Yeah. I'm going to weigh in on the Vanguard because I had to look at that again recently just to be like, okay, well, how do they go about it differently than Hasbro, right? Like, so one of the things that the Vanguard, I will say, and I'm going to be unpopular here, but as a military guy that's worked with a lot of other nations overseas, yeah, it's actually pretty freaking realistic for an ops vehicle. Like, it really is. It's plain. It don't stand out. It's an SUV, but it's got some stuff going for it. I don't mind it. The add-on kit the worse that thing looks, the more realistic it is, man. Like gypsy caravans overseas, man. The pink, maybe not so much, but what I did like about it, because I just don't care if people like it or not. It's a matter of personal taste.
Yeah.
What
I want to weigh
did-
in on it also.
Yeah,
after
I'm
you're
just
done, Phil.
going
I'm
to
sorry.
close it, but one point on it though. Where
You're not allowed to wear anything Valorverse ever again.
Yeah, where they did actually do it differently than Hasbro is when you order it, they have some options where you can. Do you want it clean or do you want it weathered? What color do you want it, right? And that's kind of something Hasbro could never do. They couldn't tailor their orders for their vehicles. There's just no way it would work for the van, right? Because it's a lore. They're not bound by that.
Yeah.
They're creating their own. Aaron, what did you want to say?
Crow, you're the one that changed my opinion on this actually by saying that the Vanguard is a more you have seen vehicles like this and stuff. And the more I've been looking at the Vanguard, I'm kind of appreciating a little bit more, but through my friends, pointing out facts about it. The thing that I don't like about the Vanguard is I just feel like the cab sits too high. I may be wrong on this, but when we do get one in and I finally get to put an action figure in it, I'm going to like study that. And you guys know, if I think I can kind of better this in a way, I'm gonna rip it apart and we're gonna enhance it. But
I mean, if you spend the money on something like that, then you're kind of entitled to do it. You're going to do with it, right?
Yeah.
So,
Did you
that's what I
pre-order
do.
it?
I rip toys apart.
Did you pre-order it, Aaron? I don't remember.
I did not
remember you
pre-order
saying
it.
you got
I'm
one.
in
Okay.
contact with a friend that ordered a few extra, and that's how we're gonna get it this time.
Okay. I like the Brad Paisley version. I like the muddy one.
yeah.
And I like
that.
the pink one,
Yeah.
but I like the muddy one.
I
like
do
the
like the muddy
option.
one better. Yeah.
So, I mean, once someone pointed out it looks like PT Cruiser, I can't not see it.
Yeah.
It's fine. It looks like it's out of scale. It does look like it's a little bit too big.
Mhm.
And that's fine. It's a fucking toy.
Yeah, exactly.
But to me, $185, and there's no, and I'm not saying it's too expensive because it's not. I mean,
No.
I'm gonna spend $325 on a fucking Rattler, but there's no lore to it. That's the reason why I don't really care for the Valorverse figures right now.
Yeah.
There's no lore, and now there's just so many GI Joes.
So there is lore. And I wasn't aware of this. Like beyond the file cards, they have a comic that they're trying to get. And there's more to come on this, but there's
no lore for me.
Yeah, exactly. It's a different lore you have to look at and go, do I want to learn about it or am I good with what I have?
Yes. Okay. So I might be using it improperly. There is he has a whole comic and a whole thing that explains what's going on. But I mean, there's no lore from our childhood, right?
There you go.
Now, with that said, I am all in on fucking, these Monster Force and shit like that. I think Fresh Monkey Fiction, and my eye looks at it. I look at Valorverse figures. They complimented my Joes before there were so many Joes, but now that I look at them and they're boring to me. All right,
And that's
I like the Swarm stuff. It works with Serpentor because I have Serpentor as a completely different faction. Right, that's not Cobra. That's Coil to me. That's Coil.
Yeah, they are.
So those things work really good.
I hadn't thought of that.
That's a good that's a good idea, Paul.
I never thought of that. The Swarm.
I really didn't
use,
either.
like every single I just buy the army builders now. I actually sold my the two main characters that were bad guys. I can't think of their names. But yeah, so I just use them, and that is. But now I'm kind of at the point where I think I'd probably rather just go with the Shield agents and the Hydra agents, and just strip off that and use them for different Coil,
And that's still Hasbro, right? Like in the end, that's still Hasbro.
Yeah, and I don't,
Yeah. And it's as relevant as you allow it to be, guys. If you actually don't give a shit about where your toys come from, then don't let the arguments sway you. Just enjoy them, right? If you do have all these things, just understand it's a polarized discussion that's rooted completely in opinion and values, right? Like it's just what you make of it.
And I think for a lot of people, for them, it's just like, what's going to look good on my shelf? What am I going to appreciate looking at the end of the day? And, that's a real touchy subject for some people. And, they'll
what do you have room for?
Yeah, exactly. And what do you want to just have, taking up your room?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry to surf the
the
track.
room is going quickly with this stuff, and even anticipation of stuff that's coming. Because if you look at not just we got the Dragonfly, we're gonna have the Rattler in 2 years, you know, Vanguard, but some of the other stuff, like if you're getting any of the ramen stuff, like I really think I'm gonna order the Mauler right now. So
Right. And
stuff like that.
that's another toy maker, that's putting out great toys with not much lore, but I mean, everyone, it looks
But-
good,
Well, it goes with everything.
Yeah,
though,
yeah,
I
but,
mean,
as well.
but the difference with the ramen stuff, the tank that he's doing, stuff like that, it's military based.
yeah,
The Vanguard, again, I don't care if you like it or not, it doesn't look military based. It looks specialized. It's security based,
There you
right?
go. It is.
And,
yeah,
and that's not
contractor.
what people want for their military that's jumping into it. And I'm not saying everyone,
No.
but I think a lot of what like Darren was saying, that our shelves are getting full. So the question is, do I want to spend $185 on a very large vehicle that I have no connection to, and I don't really care for the way that it looks? Or do I want to use that to occupy that space with other stuff like G.I. Joe that you guys all know that I'm all in on that as of now. I'm starting to run out of space, and I don't even know what I'm going to do.
So it occurs to me, one of the things, I'm listening to the conversation, and I suddenly realized maybe it is a little bit like this too. It's like, okay, everybody was dissatisfied. Well, I won't say everybody, but a loud group of people were dissatisfied with the Vanguard for a lot of reasons, and they made it very known why, right? Harsh criticism. But if you ask yourself, well, does this suit the Valorverse story arc and the Valorverse world, what these guys are using for their vehicle? I think it does. It just doesn't suit your Joe shelf, right? And now you're kind of going, well, all right, well, why'd you make it? Well, because he doesn't owe anything to your Joe shelf. He owes it to his own storytelling here. Why are you getting upset with him about the choice? Like I saw that like when I first came into the argument, and then I saw all the complexities to it. But I've gone back to seeing it that way. I was like, nobody owes your shelf anything. It's all up to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Your shelf should be a vision of your own, what you perceive to what you want. Always.
Yeah.
Hi, my
Yeah.
phone.
What's up, my phone?
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah. I mean,
What's up,
but
Sorry,
I'm
I'm
just
not watching this
using ramen as an example, because I like that as an example. Like the ramen stuff is no preconceived brand affiliation. Like, sure, it's kind of based on the Mobat, but you could buy that Mauler tank, or that whatever it is, the whatever, the
120
tank.
US on the
Yeah, so you can buy that tank and set it right here, and you could put figures from your Valorverse shelf in it, or you could put figures from your Joe shelf in it, and it works the same either way, with any preconceived notions of what should go with it. To me,
I talked to Ace when we were there at Joe Fest with him, and I was asking which tanks were you basing it off of. It was like the M1, and then there was a couple of tanks. Like he based that off a lot of stuff. But what I like about ramen is, they are very reflective of modern looking military, but they can switch it up like that and go completely sci-fi. Like the Mauler is matched by a very sci-fi Tesla laser tank for the bad guys, right? Like he offers you both, and he does both flavors with that thing. Right?
Hunter.
He also had some
tank. I had to look it up.
He also had some amazing fighter pilots, man, that I was blown away.
So the Hunter, I know most people think it's based after. No, is the Hunter the black one?
It is with the laser cannon. Yeah.
So that's the one. Like, I thought so too, that it was based after
Mobat.
But it's not. It's based after a video game that it looks almost the exact same.
Oh,
the black one.
The
black one is the Amphisabina.
Yeah. So whatever it is,
the black Night Force.
Yeah. Once he put it in, it looked like that black Mobat that they used. I think Sears exclusive. But then someone sent me, I don't remember who it was, and I don't remember what video game it is. They're like, no, it's the exact. And when you looked at it, you went, oh yeah, they're right.
But before you go ruling out that ramen tank in the black, just remember you have a Cobra shelf that it would look amazing on.
I'm not ruling it out. I'm just
not
saying
you, the audience.
Yeah, no, that thing looked awesome.
Yeah, it'll look good on the shelf next to existing Hasbro black property, right? So
yeah,
no, it looks really good.
So, anybody here want to order the bread vans and fleets and start our own shipping company? Because under 100 US, wow.
Maybe we can order a bunch and knock DHL out of the game.
The bread van is amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the bread van. I'm only gonna be able to get one, but that's definitely I think. But that's one.
One's all I want. I want to make a rusty candy van to sit outside orders.
This is what I'll say about,
free Joes on the side.
So this is what I'll say about the bread van. It's only $100, which is great. I think it's going to be easier to put on a shelf because unlike the Stinger and your Hiss tank and obviously your Dragonfly and everything else, you want to show different angles. No one really has to see the driver's side. You need to see the passenger side with the door open and the back door is open. So you could put it right up against it, have your figures inside of it. That could be one shelf. It's now a display, and no one cares what's on the other side.
Yeah, well, I agree.
And I love that point, though, because it draws eyes to the fact that before you get too crazy about, oh my God, $100, I'll order 7 of these and I'll do this all over the place, right? Just remember, like they offer variants, 18 van or alpha van is going to be one thing where they put some extra paint and effort into, but the black or white van that you're getting, well, the exterior is painted. It's more of a prime and the interior is unpainted. So you are going to have to get in there and add the details yourself if you're looking for what Punk just described, right? Like not as simple.
Or if it's the Dreadnoughts, you just leave it because they ain't going to give a shit.
And that was the red van is exactly kind of one of the actual things that I did like about what the regardless of how you feel about it, what the Vanguard brought to the table. It was just play factor of 4 figures or more is pretty rare depending on how much you're paying right now, right? Like you can get a play factor of 4 figures or more out of your Hiss, but how much did you pay for that, right? Like for a centerpiece on your shelf.
The bread van. Yeah. The bread van is genius because it's customizer's dream. Somebody that doesn't do a lot of that stuff like me, I can take it just like it is and play with it and it's just fine. But somebody like Crow and Aaron, some of our customizing people, it's a blank canvas. You don't need to do anything other than start putting your vision on it. You don't have to start cutting anything or stripping anything off. It's your Dreadnought. It's your A-Team. You put mainframe and dial tone in it, and it's a surveillance. You have the Cobra Cobra drive, but you don't need 10 of them. All you need is one, and then you change it around, right?
Yeah, and they have magnetized features too, which is nice. So, like, depending on which one you get. So
that stuff was pretty good on the Ramen Racer. I can tell that Ramen Racer is starting to sell more, or people are interested in ramen stuff because that video is continuing to do very well. That review of mine.
Yeah.
Yes.
So just people are watching it, I think, because they want to see it. Usually by now, a video that long and a review is pretty much dead.
And for the replay squad, because we have gone over the hour, guys, but I am going to keep us under an hour and a half. So I'm going to give us a 15-minute warning to the end of the episode today. But just to recap who we got here, if you're just new to the channel and you're just new to toy tubing, it's Down South 77 off to right there. Punk with Toys, Lawrence down in the corner here, and then off to his right is Aaron the Toy Enhancer, okay? So check out their channels. Also pay attention to the chat because I'm pretty sure if you don't have a channel in the chat right now, could you please raise your hand? No, I didn't think so. Everybody in our chat pretty much has a channel anyways, but if you're part of the replay squad, welcome. So I'm just going to put up a quick one because I don't know if I said hi to Jay Astro or not. Mython saying all the toys together. And I think that's pretty much the consensus of the 4 people here too. When it comes to your shelves, you have no problem with cross play so long as it flows well. Is that right? Like I know how Aaron does it. You can speak to yours, Aaron, but I also want to hear from the other 2 about maybe there is a boundary and what would that look like?
Oh, you want me to go first?
Yeah,
I
I'm
was,
just saying.
I was
Like,
saying,
is it the same
these
with you?
guys have been to my home and they know that I have like just stuff everywhere, and my toy collection is just one big flow. It doesn't have to be a certain brand or anything like that. I mean, I got Chucky from Child's Play up here, sitting with my Joes. It's just whatever you want it to be, I mean your toys should flow because you like looking at them. And it doesn't, for me, it doesn't have to be the particular brand. There's just too many toys to choose from, and I buy toys because I like the way they look.
There we go. All right, I'll get you off full screen. I'm gonna hand this one over to Darren. Where we go? Exit solo layout. There we are. And I just kicked Aaron completely off the screen. I'm going to give you the stage and I'll bring Aaron back. But what about your shelf?
I am a little more finicky with mine. I started doing all of this collecting classified and then picking up a couple other things here or there as I learned more about them and just got to hear more about stuff. So my main shelves are classified, but there's just too many other cool things out there that I like. So I have one shelf that is kind of a mishmash of everything I like, which is this shelf right here to my right. And that shelf's going to have to be expanded pretty soon. I don't mix stuff with my Joes. I've said that before. I never have. I didn't grow up playing that way. I never added anything to my Joes. So when I played Joes, I just played with Joes. I tried Star Wars stuff. I made a Cobra AT-AT and it just didn't really work when I was a kid. So I do have separate shelves for my stuff, but anything that's not Joe, I will intermix and display on the shelf because I think it looks cool together. The only thing that I've got in one of these Joe shelves that's actually not Joe related is my one Action Force figure, and he fits in well enough with that stuff, but it is kind of on there's Super 7 in there, that kind of stuff. So,
right, so
I do have one shelf that I put everything cool together where they all play together.
There we go. And Punk, I mean, like I saved you as the last because of like all the time we see you, we see the city diorama in the background and a little bit like that, right? So I kind of already know you mix your shelves, but I don't know if your situation's a bit different. Like, do you even have the option of space to divide your shelves in such a way by brand, or is it like what's the deal with your shelves?
Okay, so first let me say, if you're an 80s kid and you mix Star Wars and G.I. Joe, you're an abomination. Right? Like Darren just said, like, hey, I want to make a Cobra AT-AT. It didn't fucking work. And it is AT-AT, not AT-AT.
Yeah.
Yep.
So downstairs is where I have everything. And if you've seen any of my other stuff, I have a 1/18th room in the basement, and it's mixed with a bunch of different military line. Well, it's mixed with G.I. Joe, but soon you'll be seeing, the other military lines once I get it done. I have a whole bookcase full of Motu, which will probably be going bye-bye soon. And then on the top, I have all the gargoyles. I'd love to add gargoyles, but it seems like NECA isn't making any. And then in the living room, it is just all classified. It is mixed with some Valiver stuff, but that's just because I needed extra figures to fill in. Now with classified having so many, I just don't feel a need to have too many Valiver's figures, and none of them really strike me as something I need. Yeah. Now, what you see behind me, this is the clusterfuck, because I do my reviews over here. So there are some figures I keep over here. I got some of the Marvel Legends that you'll see. Obviously, right now I have the Stinger back there, and I got the HMS. My Mythic Legions are kind of scattered around because I don't have that many. I don't know what to do with the Street Fighter figures, so they're just kind of mixed on the diorama.
They can fight it out.
What?
I said they can fight it out.
Yeah. So now, I will say this. Any custom figure that somebody sends me or anything I customize with like Gridiron, I mostly keep it up here and do displays with it. Now, I did take the Snow Serpent downstairs that I just bought the Gridiron loadout because I had a little snow area for him. But all that type of stuff. Like you can see the grunt up there. That's from Johnny Reno. But I got not a bunch, but a few of the gridiron stuff. So if I make a custom of something, I kind of keep it near me. And then I just have other figures that I enjoy. Like you can see that one shelf is full of AWOC. Probably can't see it. But
And you have Stridor sitting on top of Funkos and Gargoyles over there. So yeah.
It's because I don't have any place for it. I bought a second one. I bought a second one because it was $3.
Yeah, well, like what Aaron just said, the volume of videos that you make and broad spectrum of stuff you look at, the way you do your videos, you bring in stuff from other line. Like you show a classified, you're like, well, let's show it in scale to a Legion or an Action Force or a He-Man or whatever. You also need that stuff accessible to you. So not just do you like it, like you have to have it at hand, you know, so you can grab it and do it right there. That's where you
love that about your channel, Punk. You've showed me so many things on your channel that I probably would have never even seen.
Yeah, and that's why they take 2 hours to get through a review.
But yeah,
and then I realized I can relate. No, I appreciate that.
No, I wanted to get
seen it there.
I wanted to make that point about the shelves, guys, because really, like at the end, when you start seeing the toy company, you know, competitive, like don't ever buy that, don't ever do that. One, who gives a shit about what you're gonna buy, what you're gonna put on there? No one gives a rat's ass. We just like our likes and views. But secondly, like when you start buying enough, it's like Punk was kind of alluding to, and like I'm definitely going through. You would love to divide things and make them look great, but maybe you've only got 1 or 2 of one brand and 40 of another, and you don't have the space to divide it all. Like sometimes you got to get used to being a little uncomfortable with your shelf, I think.
And that's
a shelf.
Go
ahead.
No, Punk, you go ahead.
So that's what I do for back here is I kind of keep everything diverse. So when people tune in, it's like, oh, this is another G.I. Joe guy. No, you can see that there's a bunch of different things up here. Like the shelf right above the one you can't see, that's all my glow-in-the-dark stuff. All right.
That's where that's at.
You're the reason I started a glow-in-dark shelf, and it sits right next to my bed.
Yeah, so you can't see it. It's
here we are.
So there's 2 shelves. The stuff on the top is all stuff for my kid.
Notice all the cosplay up there also.
Just out of his reach.
Well, that's when there wasn't a lot of G.I. Joe stuff. Okay. So I can fit that Snake Eyes helmet on, but it ain't easy.
I gotta see it. I gotta see it on one day.
The Cobra Commander one is nice and easy. I can wear my glasses and everything.
He left that there for you to borrow, right? When he was there and introduced you a couple weeks ago.
Darren, you had a follow up, or sorry, Punk, you were saying, or were you done that point? Because I didn't mean to cut Darren off. Also, there, it's hard.
I talk more than enough. You can cut me off all you want. I'm fine.
Okay, lag's a little tricky. Darren, you.
And I don't even remember what it was. I was gonna say, so it wasn't that important.
And Aaron, any closing thoughts on the shelf stuff? Because I'm looking at the clock, and I'm gonna move into one last thing.
I'm pretty good. Just you guys do your shelves how you desire. You know what floats your boat.
If it makes you happy, you walk in and you go, "Hey, that makes me smile." Then fucking who cares, man? Like
life's too short to not do it.
But if you walk in and you say, "I don't like that figure," whether it be because you don't like the way the figure looks, it doesn't look together, you don't like the owner of the company, you don't like the company, then get rid of it. Just get rid of it, toss it in the fucking garbage, give it to someone. I don't give a shit. Don't look at your hobby and be upset that you have something in there that you don't want.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, the movie The Purge made it look like purging always had to be violent. Man, purging is good. Get rid of the things that don't make you happy. Keep the ones that do, and move on with life. Right? Yeah. That's a great point to close out just the toy talk on, guys. Aaron, did you have the point about the shelf at all? Though, like you're good.
Oh yeah, I'm good.
Okay, I need your guys' help. I missed my Saturday morning live this weekend on purpose so I could just focus on getting a stinger video out. And I've been doing a lot of thinking about my channel for some reason in the last few weeks anyways. I I'm going to change up the format of my live and the intent. So for the guys in the chat, I see 18 people. Thank you. Please, you can't leave here without hitting the like. The door won't open. But what's going to end up happening is I'm going to have a subject from now on Saturday mornings or Sundays, depending on my schedule. And we're going to go back and we're going to stay focused on an individual character from Joe, an individual character from Cobra, and one vehicle on every Saturday morning live from this time till I'm comfortable to change it again or switch it up. Any other lives I do outside of that are irrelevant, but every Saturday morning when you tune in, we're going to talk about one Joe, one Cobra, and one vehicle for 1 hour. And then we're going to call that the live for the day. And what I would like to do is I'm going to put these three guests on the spot and tell them we're going to start in 1982 with the first wave release, the OG-13.
Nice.
Now, Darren, you're my backyard battlefield brother, and you gave me chuckles. I'm going to give you the choice of Joe that I'm going to review from the OG-13. Okay, think on it. Aaron, I'm going to give you the choice of Cobra because it's obvious you're the Cobra, right? So I got to give you the Cobra.
Thank you.
Which really gives you only two choices. Sorry, but that's for the first review, right? And then Punk, I mean, your choices are limited as well, but the vehicles or, you know, what I'm talking about, even the Cobra Missile Command, something outside of the figures from 82 that we were buying for our G.I. Joes, that'll be the third thing I'm going to talk about next Saturday. This will be my Saturday live next week. So,
Nice.
Darren, did you think of Down South 77, did you think of a Joe I'm going to do?
Yeah, might as well just start with your favorite. Let's do Clutch.
Oh, wow. Nice call. I didn't even think about that. Aaron, Cobra?
Yes, we are going with the almighty Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander.
Oh, damn. Do I have to open it?
Not if you don't want to. It's your
Okay.
toy.
we might have a stunt double. But yes, okay. So Cobra Commander, Clutch, and then Punk, the vehicle.
Well,
It's
I mean,
just
I was gonna
discussion,
say,
right?
I was gonna say the Vamp, but since he already said Clutch, it just goes with it. But that was one of my two first vehicles.
What was the other one?
I had the Hal.
The Hal.
Well, not the Hal.
Whirlwind.
Was it
No,
the
I never
Flash?
had the Whirlwind till a few years ago.
Yeah.
The HMS or
HMS.
the SMS.
The SMS, which nobody has right now anyway, so I can speak about that. You know what? He's right. Everybody would predict the Vamp. I think we're going to have enough Vamp spam for the next little while. I kind of don't want to focus on the Vamp next week. So next week, I'm going to focus on Mickey Mouse, Cobra Commander in general, Mickey Mouse on there. I'm going to focus on Clutch, and I'm going to focus on the SMS, which back in the day came with Hawk.
Man, my fucking opinion means shit. It's like being on Hello Toys again when they're showing everyone else's fucking pictures and being like, that was nice too. You did some too. You go sit over there. You did nice pictures. But have you seen Mama Toys pictures?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a request for that format, Crow. Never do Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow.
What's that?
Never do Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow.
Oh, I love you, bro. Of course not.
Why? Wait, why?
Fingers crossed. Oh, just because I make jokes about hearing so much about those two and G.I. Joe lore, like you can't escape them. So
yeah,
I don't care. Do them. They'll be interesting videos. No, it's just my joke about them being everywhere.
I'll tell you why. If I drew them randomly, like if I left it up to an audience member or one of you guys and you said, do Snake Eyes, do Storm Shadow, of course I would do it. I wouldn't choose to do it because to go down the Aragakashi rabbit hole and to repeat the Snake Eyes origin story of Vietnam with him in patrols and things like that, I just feel like that story, I'm tired of that one. There's so many other characters that have different good stories too, right? Or interesting, but all we're going to be doing is me ripping the character apart going, well, the figure says this, but the story is this and that, and see what the comment says. That's all it is. It's just for fun, guys. That's all it is.
That's a good idea, Crow. I'm excited for it. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm interested. I can't wait to hear it.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm looking at the clock. Oh, so go ahead, Punk.
Well, let me ask you a question. You're going to do a vehicle, but are you going to talk about the figure that comes with the vehicle?
That's what I was saying. It came with Hawk. I have to talk about Hawk with that set, how he was presented, things like that, right? The Mobat. I know in my back of my mind, I was like, nobody's going to say Mobat and Steeler. As an armored guy, I'm disappointed, but I get it. Guys, we have about 40 seconds to sum this up. I'll go over, but I'm going to take these guys over, let these guys tell everybody here what's going on their channels this week or what they're excited about this week. And just start with, what do you think? I know Darren and Aaron, you don't have it, and Punk, you do. Your impressions of the Stinger, just say positive or negative, and then tell me about your channel. So Darren, your impressions about your Stinger and your channel.
I'm excited to get the Stinger. Can't wait to investigate everything that you guys told us here today. So, I mean, it looks good overall, and I think it will look better once I have it in my hand versus seeing it on people's videos. As far as the channel goes, maybe we're doing Backyard Battlefield this week. We've got to talk about it. As far as I know, we're going to be doing it somewhere. And I should have a review up at some point on Once a Man Cobra Commander, because I haven't gotten mine yet. It's supposed to be here tomorrow. Might have get my video up on Marauder Sarge. He's supposed to be here sometime this week, and just see whatever else shows up or whatever else Hasbro screws up that's worthy of talking about.
There we go.
Yeah, he looks so good. I hadn't watched your video yet. He looks so good.
I was in the
Looks
middle of watching
better.
it, and then some guy named Lawrence called me.
Well, it's only up for the channel members. So
Yeah.
if anyone
Okay.
goes looking for it, it's not up. It'll be up tomorrow at 8 a.m.
Well, that's good, because we were on you, Punk. So, I mean, your Stinger impression, positive, negative, and then tell us more about what you got coming up this week.
I like the Stinger. It's you're looking at it, you're like, where am I going to put this? And again, it was what I've been banging on until I finally did the I was wrong video, and now I'm like, maybe I wasn't wrong, because eventually I might have to stop cutting back on some of this stuff. But no, I like the Stinger. We're gonna get a Vamp Mark II. They flow together.
Yep.
So
See my
what
Kevin
I-
Malone
yep.
here.
I have Monday Night Toy Ramblings tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, where I will go 3+ hours. Tomorrow I'm going to be discussing the great Once a Man debacle. So I have a lot to say about it. A lot to say about it. Some of you may not like what I have to say, but I will have a follow-up video talking about what's wrong with collecting in general. That I was going to do this weekend and have it come out Monday, but all this stuff kind of came out. And then Thursday, I have Thursday with a friend with Viper Scout.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes. Not Viper Island, Viper Scout. And unless if you are a channel member and have joined Punk's Pit, you have no idea what he looks like. But you see him in the chat all the time, so.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting, because we don't really know much about Viper
Know
Scout, and we talk to
nothing
him all
about
the time.
Yeah.
And every time I've asked him, like, hey, you still in? And he's like, yep. And I hit him up this weekend just to make sure. And he's like, yep, still. I'm like, all right, man. And then he responded, good luck with the thumbnail. Because he doesn't have a picture of himself. He does have some pictures. So if you see the thumbnail, that is his picture. So
I have to be a Viper.
And Aaron, just before I move down to you, and thanks very much for Punk. And Punk, thanks for joining us for the first time on my channel. Like this kind of format. I know I didn't give you much notice, but it's appreciated. I know John reached out to you. I hope that conversation went well, by the way. John from Top Fun Retro 3D, whatever. Sorry, I can't get
I did talk to him, and
he was the other abstract guest I had last week. So it's just guys, I'm gonna keep swinging at the fences and see who shows up. But I mean, it's great that the guys I hung out with at Joe Fest have been visiting my place every now and then. Aaron, you're somebody that's due to come up north here and visit my place at some point too. But let's get your impressions on that Stinger, positive or negative, and tell us what you got going on this week.
I think the Stinger is awesome. I picked up a few of them. I'll say that. I am, you know me. I am gonna modify it. I'm gonna try to, now that Triple C wants some trunk space, I'm gonna try to put some trunk space in for him, and see what we can do with that, and light it up and whatnot. I do have an epic video that is it's life changing for me, and I guess my channel too. You guys will see it tonight. And that's going to include the information. You guys know I do a free diorama giveaway once a year, and that's going to include the information that you guys need to know to enter that contest. So it should be a pretty exciting video, and I can't wait for everyone to see it.
Right on.
Update us on the army building contest. What's the
Updates
latest
on the
on
army building contest. If you want to be a part of that, I already have I believe it's 5 entries. If you want to be a part of that, you just need to get your video to me before midnight on Tuesday, okay, which is the 13th. And as long as your video is in on time, you can look forward to seeing the results of that contest over that following weekend.
So I just, yeah, right on. Thanks very much, Aaron, for going over that. Thanks, Darren, for remembering to bring that up.
Yes, thank you.
Frank, I like your comment there. I just, I had this up for a second because I'm WTF. Dave, your channel has changed because your email changed. If that's correct, then everybody who's subscribed here to Dave's channel, just be aware there was a change. And we'll have to solve this Scooby-Doo mystery the way we always do, like a gang does, and with lots of Scooby snacks and good intent. So for myself, guys, the Stinger, I think, is worth the punch. I don't necessarily give a rat's ass about getting blast effects anymore, but it's not like I felt the vehicle robbed me of anything. In fact, I felt like it actually benefited my Vamp and it benefited my Cobra just where it belongs. But like Punk is saying, and like you're starting to hear, more and more people starting to have that little reality cookie chewing there going, hang on, starting to have problems with space, starting to have problems with where I want the money to go to when other things are on the table, things like that. But if the Stinger got you excited, you're not going to hear me trash it, okay? I just think that there's lots to consider when these things go. For my channel, though, more inconsistencies, but I'm going to try and get those Saturday morning routines down. I will put out reviews as I put them. I'll put out hot mics, but that Saturday morning, you just saw how these guys established what we're going to do. So you'll see the ads for that. And that's all I got going on, guys. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Thank you very much, Down South 77, A Punk with Toys, and Aaron the Toy Enhancer. I am going to let the guests of honor, the guest of honor tonight, well, I won't say of honor, but just the guy that did me a favor and showed up. Punk, why don't you sign up my channel for the first and probably last time ever and just say goodbye to the chat for us.
Well, everyone, thank you for tuning in. It's great. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out. Hit that subscribe button because a lot of people may not be subscribed. And thank you guys all for joining. Take care.
See you soon.
See you.